Hey guys, Angie here. I'm gonna do something fun and I'm gonna do some picks for UFC 284. I'm a big UFC fan and I just want to have some fun and make some picks instead of listening to everyone else's picks all the time. It's MMA, anything can happen. It's a really exciting sport. So let's get into it. So it's Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski for the lightweight title. Volkanovski is striving for double champ status because he's the featherweight champion. Islam, this is his first title defense at lightweight. I'm just going to get into it and make it really simple so I don't, stuff up. So this is the main card starter. So we've got Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menafield. So Jimmy Crute is Australian. He's based in Victoria. He's had a bit of a rough couple of years. He's had a layoff with an injury. I really think the pandemic stuffed up a lot of Victorian, Tasmanian fighters, a lot of cancellations of fights, and a lot of people unable to train and probably get some proper sparring in because the lockdowns are really strict. So I think that kind of might have affected Jimmy. He had a bad loss to Jamal Hill, who's the current light heavyweight champion. I think that might have been his last fight actually, but this is his comeback fight. So he's very talented. He's still very young. He's very good at jiu-jitsu and not so bad with striking either. I think this will be a good fight for him. Alonzo Menafield, I don't really know too much about him. I didn't do research, and this is just for fun, right? But his record is 13-3. Jimmy's is 12-3, so he's had about roughly the same amount of experience on a professional level. If I had to make a pick though, I would say Jimmy gets it just because home crowd advantage, and Jimmy is talented. And I think, he's been in the top 15 for a while. I'm not sure about Alonso, so we'll see. Yeah, I would pick Jimmy to win this fight for sure. Justin Tafa and Parker Porter in heavyweight division. So Justin Tafa has had a little bit of bad luck in the UFC. I think he's won maybe one or two fights. He's done all right, but he's had a few issues with his weight, especially at heavyweight. That is a little bit alarming, but I think that if he comes with his best game, I reckon he'll get this done. Because Parker Porter isn't always the best when it comes to performance either. So I reckon it's anyone's fight to win. Obviously it's heavyweight, but I would give the edge to Tafa if he's worked on the things that he needed to in the mental side of things. Next fight, Jack Della. So this is really exciting, this fight, because Jack Della, I was watching him when I started watching MMA. He was in the Eternal, what do you call it? The Eternal MMA promotion. And he just always had the air of a champion about him. So I think I watched him defend his title in the welterweight division maybe 2 or 3 times, and he was just dominant. And ever since he's come to the UFC, he's been very dominant. So I reckon he's just going to continue on. Randy Brown, he's coming off they're both off winning streaks. Randy Brown's have more gone to the decision, whereas Jack Della's has been TKO stoppages, around the first round mostly, I think, or KOs. So I'll give the edge to Jack Della. He's really talented too. Apparently he's one of the best switch dancers in the UFC, and he's only just made it there. So it's just pretty compelling. It'll be very interesting to see how far he can go. Obviously, it's hard to know before you get into the top 15 and even the top 10 and then top 5. I'll definitely give the edge to Jack Della. I'm going for all these Australians. I know it's a bit weird, but Randy Brown is a little bit longer though, but I don't know about these. There's a lot of longer fighters coming into MMA for their weight class. I don't know if it's always the best thing. So yeah, I got Jack Della by TKO. Maybe in the first or second round. Alright, so we got the featherweight interim title bout. So this is being made because Volkanovski in the main event. Obviously, he can't defend both titles exactly at the same time. So they've made an interim title bout in his featherweight division. So we've got Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. Personally, I would have liked to see Arnold Allen, who's another featherweight who's been on like a really long winning streak. He should really be getting this opportunity, in my opinion, because I think maybe Josh Emmett is on a run as well. But I know Yair, he got beaten up really bad by Max Holloway, who was the champion before Volkanovski, and he's like one of the greatest too. So I just don't see. I feel like Yair needs to prove himself a little more, because he won one fight I think since he got beaten up by Max Holloway, and I just would have liked him to do a little more. I think Josh has had a little bit of. He's been working hard. He had a bit of luck with the last fight because a lot of people thought he didn't win that. It went to decision, so he got the nod. I think Josh Emmett's probably a little bit more well-rounded, but he's also older than Yair, so it could go either way, but I think Josh will probably get it done, just because I think Yair needs to work on himself more, but, you know, Josh Emmett could have gotten old overnight, who knows, so I think Josh Emmett will get this, maybe win a decision. I think so. So that's a co-main event. Now we've got go to the main event. Just have some water. So Islam Makhachev versus Alexander for the lightweight title. So Islam, he got the belt off Oliveira like not too long ago. Probably about 3 months ago. So he's fighting again very quickly. I think Islam is, so he's like regarded as probably one of the greatest fighters ever. He's currently on the pound for pound list at number 2. Volkanovski is the pound for pound best fighter in the world. I don't think Islam's really deserving of the second spot yet, just because I believe that he hasn't really been challenged like other fighters. Like, he hasn't exactly had the toughest opponents on the way to the belt. Then again, he's been very dominant and he's performed well, like, regardless, but I still feel like he needs to prove himself a little more before he can win that pound for pound best in the world spot if he beats Volkanovski. They're both really good at what they do. Obviously Islam's like got that wrestling. I think with Islam we've seen him dominate so many people, but we haven't really seen where his like little chinks are, and I think Volkanovski really wants to create like sort of expose that. So Islam, he is a bigger guy obviously because he's that lightweight. Their reach is surprisingly not too different. Oh wow, okay, so Volkanovski actually has like 1 inch reach on Islam, even though he's a smaller guy and a shorter guy. So he actually has a slight advantage in the reach. Okay, that's interesting, because Islam's arms look so long. So I had a better like analysis of this yesterday when I practiced this, but Islam, I just feel like Volkanovski's been preparing for Islam's wrestling attacks to try and get him down, and I think that's because that's what normally Islam will go in and take you down and submit you or ground and pound you or something, and just try, he's finished fights really quickly. I feel like Volkanovski's preparing for that, but I don't think I don't think that's gonna be his game plan. I think his game plan is gonna be to try and submit him on the feet. Because that I just feel like he might do that. I have a feeling he doesn't want to go there with Volkanovski, because Volkanovski probably has a bit of an advantage being a shorter guy with the wrestling. So for me, I just feel like Islam is a little bigger. Like, there's weight classes for a reason. I feel like they're very evenly matched if they were both actually the same weight naturally, I feel like Volkanovski might win it, but I feel like Islam's gonna probably be just a little bit too big, and you got to also realize that Volkanovski hasn't fought at lightweight in a while, so he's going to be carrying extra weight. It's going to feel weird. I think he'll be stronger though, and he is quicker than Islam as well on the feet. I just have a feeling that Islam will try and submit him early. If the fight goes longer, I feel like Volkanovski will have more of a chance to win it. And I also have a funny feeling that Volkanovski might do something crazy and just pull it off. So, yeah, I'm a bit split, but if I had to make an official pick, I would say Islam by standing submission, and that's my pick. Thanks for listening to me. I haven't done this before, so it's a little bit confronting, but also fun. I'll ease into it. So I just want to look at a few prelim fights, because I'm a big eternal MMA watcher as well. I watch it every time it's on UFC Fight Pass. So we've got Jack Jenkins, who didn't get his picture filled in properly. He just came off the Contender Series on UFC, so now he's got a contract. This is his first fight in the featherweight division. He was a champion in Eternal MMA. I think he had a layoff and then he became champion again. Or did he? I think he became champion, then he had a layoff, and then he went on Contender. He's really crazy. They don't have his proper stats filled in either, but he's crazy. I don't know much about his opponent. I can't actually read his name because I've cut it off there, but I would say it's anyone's fight. Jack Jenkins is a crazy fighter though, so it's going to be a really good fight to watch. This is in no particular order either. Jamie Mullarkey should be on the main card. I'm a pretty big fan of Jamie. Been watching him. I watched him live in Melbourne when it was Whittaker versus Adesanya. Had that crazy fight with Brad Riddell, but came up short. He fights like a maniac. I love it. But he's learning to fight smarter now, and I think that's really helping him because I think he had 2 losses to start with, and now he's winning them. So he's doing really well. I think he's just outside the top 15 in the lightweight division. His opponent, I don't know anything about. They haven't filled in the stats. Francisco Prado. I think he's a newer fighter that's not so bad, actually. So I can't really make a prediction for this fight, except it'll be fun to watch again, because it's Jamie Mullarkey. And I got one last fight I would like to talk about. So we've got Shannon Ross, who was versus Colenson Rodriguez. I do not know how to say that name. So Shannon Ross, he was also on the Contender Series. He actually came up short, but he was really tough and he didn't give in, and he had some success in the fight against whoever he fought. I can't remember. So for this fight, this is kind of weird for me because I'm a huge Sean Etchell fan, and they were meant to fight back in Eternal MMA twice, I think, for the bantamweight strap, and that never happened. And so if I was the matchmakers here, I would have given Sean Etchell another go. I would have made Shannon Ross and Sean Etchell fight each other, because we never got to see that fight here, and that would have been fun. So that's about it, really. Thanks for watching. I'm pretty green at this, but I just wanted to do it for fun, so yeah. I'll be back, maybe.